Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is the Coffee Talk Podcast Show. How are y'all doing this evening? Welcome. Tonight is our Cultural Studies Night, which we bring to you every other weekend, alternative weekends, every Sunday and Monday. Alternate days every Sunday and Monday. And tonight, we have a nice show lined up for you. Tonight, we want to go ahead and have three different segments. One segment, or the first segment, is we're going to discuss the June 16th, 1920 issue that happened in Duluth, Minnesota. One of the reasons why we chose to cover this story tonight out of the book, 1,000 Years of Lynching, is because it is being celebrated as the Juneteenth all throughout the month. People don't start celebrating until the 13th, 15th, 16th, 19th, and all throughout the month. So we want to talk about June 16th, 1920 in Duluth, Minnesota. Our second segment is we're going to discuss from the book Black People Invented Everything by Dr. SUJAN KUMAR. And they have a discussion in that book of Black People Invented Everything that talks about our first sexual protection. You know what I'm talking about as far as safe sex goes. You know what I'm talking about? And in our last topic for tonight is based off of the book, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, which is written by author SHAHRAZAD Ali. We're going to dive in to the last paragraph of page 209 that discusses Black leadership. So that's our cultural studies for tonight here at Coffee Talk Podcast. I'm happy you're here. And let's get ready to dive on in. Now, if this is your first time appearing on the show, we never start the show without giving you the flavor as well as the wise words. Now, what is the flavor? The flavor is any discussion that is health related, as far as anything that we can consume for our bodies to just bring a healthy lifestyle. So that's what we give you. We give you the flavor. And we don't mind if there's days where you just want to be chilling. So we don't mind if you're drinking some water, some wine, a smoothie, a latte, a beer, a shot, whatever you want to do. Hopefully not a shot. And I apologize for saying hope because I don't like to use that word. But may it not be a shot, because on Cultural Studies Night, you really want to get in tune with yourself from a mental standpoint, an appreciative standpoint, and an empowerment standpoint, and dive on in. So again, tonight's flavor, whatever you drinking on, but tonight's flavor we're representing is beetroot juice. Why beetroot juice? Well, here are some of the healthy benefits of beetroot juice. Number one, it's a good source for potassium. Number two, it helps maintain a healthy weight. Number three, it lowers your blood pressure. And number four, it helps improves your stamina, especially when you're doing exercise. So whatever you sipping on, whatever flavor you sipping on, tonight's flavor is beetroot juice. All right. Next up on our agenda is the wise words. Now, why did we choose these wise words? Well, it is Father's Day, but to me, Father's Day is every day. You know what I mean? For all the men that contribute to mentoring, building up a child, providing courage to a child, providing knowledge to a child, providing tradition to a child, providing a listening ear to a child or a young man or a young lady. So tonight's wise words is from this brother that many people forget was born in New York City. He attended North Carolina College from 1981 to 1984. He was born February 17th, 1963, and he hails as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Number 23, number 45, and back to number 23. We're talking about no other than Mr. Michael Jordan. Here are the wise words from Michael Jordan, and may this be a little upliftment on this Father's Day. Michael Jordan's wise words was this. He stated, "My father used to say that it's never too late to do anything you wanted to do. And he said, you never know what you can accomplish until you try." I'm going to say that one more time. Yes, you never know what can you accomplish unless you try. And I'm going to say that again. So again, tonight's wise words is this. My father used to say that it's never too late to do anything you wanted to do. And he said, you never know what you can accomplish until you try it. Those are the wise words of Michael Jeffrey Air Jordan. All right. Being that this is Cultural Studies Night, and if you're not familiar with Coffee Talk Podcast, we are a cultural studies show. Again, we like to appear 3 times a week, and sometimes we don't make that. It's all based on content creation, so I'm going to be real with you about that. But we try to stay as consistent as we can. Tonight's story is going to be talked, or tonight's story we're going to discuss is June 16th, 1920 in Duluth, Minnesota. Now at Coffee Talk Podcast, during Cultural Studies Night like this or any other night, we love to promote literature. We love to promote reading. We love that, because what we believe is that reading creates the critical mind and the critical thinker. It helps develop a nice vocabulary. It's great exercise for the mind so that you will be able to walk in any room and be able to hold a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we promote that every episode. You know what I mean? So this is Coffee Talk Podcast. We love to give you the flavor as well as the wise words. But tonight we got 3 good stories. So if you want to go ahead and listen, they're going to be real quick. It's going to be a nice quick show. But we do encourage that you go ahead and let us know you're here in the chat box. And while you're here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Coffee Talk Podcast is not only the flyest podcast in the nation, but it also brings you straight positive content. So if you're looking for likes and all this and that, you might not find that here. You know what I mean? Because we don't do no negative, nothing on Coffee Talk Podcast. We're just not into it. We love bringing you good news, bringing you a good, healthy enlightenment, a good aura, some good empowerment. And also, we love to give props to our doctors, our lawyers, our scholars, our authors, our poets, our ancestors. So that's what we do here at Coffee Talk Podcast on our cultural studies nights, such as tonight. On Wednesdays, we do have a show for y'all that do love sports. On Wednesdays, we We love to bring you the different intricacies that go on in the world of sports. So we don't necessarily care about who won or lost a game, but we love to tell you about the different intricacies that go on in the world of sports, especially involving our people. So that's our Wednesday night sports night. And then on Friday, Saturdays, again, alternate weekends sometimes. We love to go ahead and just tell you, hey, let your hair down. Come on in, kick your feet up, bring you some flavor to sip on, you know what I mean, and enjoy what we call our grown folk social hour. That's right, our grown folk social hour, where we like to go ahead and combine laughter, humor, short stories, bring guests, and just like to have a fly time. You know what I mean? Sort of like if you at the lounge or at the bar or just at a friend's house. So that's what we do. And remember, it's all positive, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we may talk a little slick shit here and there, you know what I mean? But it's very positive, and we got something a little bit for everybody. And so I do apologize for slipping up and cussing. You may hear a few cuss words here. So again, watch at your own risk, but we'll make sure that we are, depending on what episodes we are covering and what topics, we want to make sure that we take your children into consideration. This type of show is for I would say kids 16 on up, you know what I mean? But there are days when we do cultural studies where we like to read a short story for the kids. So again, we have a little bit of something for everybody: the elders, the mid adults, youth, you know what I mean? So make sure you are on point with the notifications, sharing this, liking this, and letting people know Coffee Talk Podcast is here with a positive voice. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get right into this show, shall we? All right, June 16th, 1920. June 16th, 1920. This is a news article that was from the Brooklyn Times, June 19th, 1920. And it talks about an issue that took place in Duluth, Minnesota. It was Duluth, Minnesota, June 19th. 3 circus roustabouts, all Negroes, were lynched here last night by a rioting mob of 5,000 for the alleged crime of attacking a 17-year-old white girl. Isaac McGee, Elmer Jackson, and Nate Green were hanged at intervals of 8 minutes after a mock trial had been held by the mob. A mock trial. The 3 men held on suspicion of the crime had been removed from the jail by the mob. McGahee was the first victim. A noose was placed around his neck at 11:30 last night. He declared his innocence and pleaded for mercy. 2 Catholic priests begged the crowd to let the law take its course. Reverend Father E.J. Howard climbed 15 feet up a telegraph pole and under the dim glare of an arc light prayed for the crowd to release the Negroes. He was hooted by the crowd. McGahee was jerked into the air 3 times. The rope broke on the first 2 attempts. He begged for mercy until an impassed speech was cut short by his 3rd accent. Jackson was the next victim, followed by Green. Both declared they were not guilty of the attack. Officials here said it was the first manifestation of mob spirit in Duluth in years. The storm last night broke slowly. Reports of the attack on the white girl were spread about town by afternoon newspapers. Groups collected in the streets. All of a sudden, Police Lieutenant E.J. Barber said the Negroes melted into one huge mass, which came tearing down the street toward the jail. We refused to give up the prisoners. Of course, then they got timbers and began wrecking things. We couldn't stand them off. We called on the firemen. They came in a gallop, laying lines as they came. They poured water into the mob using the highest possible pressure. The outskirts of the mob melted away, but the main body stood firm. Some of the men were caught in the face and strangled as the water caught them. Most of them just humped their backs and went on battering the doors. When they got inside, the men quickly determined that 3 of the black prisoners were guilty, hauled them out, and hung them. As soon as the 3 were dead, the crowd dispersed and all was quiet. It happened so quickly, it didn't look real. That is our story of June 16th, 1920 in Duluth, Minnesota. Before we carry on, I just want to pay my respects to Isaac McGee, Elmer Jackson, and Nate Green. They deserved a fair trial, not a mock trial. They deserved a fair trial, not a mock trial. So when we are out always shaking our asses and partying and accepting these holidays that be handed down to us, or these holidays that be created with some type of bribery of, if you do this for me, I'll do that for you. You can get your Juneteenth if you do this. Remember what's really going on. So that's our segment for tonight, June 16th, 1920. Let us know what your thoughts are on the story. What do you know about the story? Have you ever been to the site up in Duluth, Minnesota? What is your thoughts? Do you feel those brothers committed the crime? Were they guilty? Do you feel those brothers was innocent? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and put those in the comments. And when you're there, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification so that you don't miss out on more shows of Coffee Talk. So with that being said, we're going to take a 30-second commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to dive into another short story out the book, Black People Invented Everything. And this little short segment is going to be called The First Sexual Protection. Go tell somebody Coffee Talk Podcast is on. I'll see you in 30 seconds. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Coffee Talk Podcast, Cultural Studies Night. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. All right, so we're moving right along to our next segment. Again, these are very short stories. So if you're one of those people that, you know, have an attention deficit or whatever that may be, just hold on, because we're going to keep dropping these jewels on you. This is not no hour-long show, so we're going to give it to you. But we also need you to stay tuned in. Make sure you get some of this knowledge and wisdom and understanding so that you can share with another, or even just have healthy conversations with your loved ones and also teach them. Again, this is Coffee Talk Podcast. And our next segment is the first sexual protection with this book here. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's a great book by author Dr. SUJAN Kumar Das. And let's go ahead and jump into segment 2, the first sexual protection. The first sexual protection. The first rubbers weren't actually rubbers. As early as 1000 BC, the ancient Egyptians used a lining shelf for protection against disease, while the Chinese are known to have used oiled silk paper or lamb intestines. Sounds gross, but it worked. It worked so well that in the 15th century, Europeans copied the idea and started making tons of money selling lamb intestine condoms, promising protection from syphilis and later from unwanted pregnancy. So basically what it's saying is that our culture, we were already practicing safe sex. And as you know, it was the Moors that came through Europe during what they call the Dark Ages and helped clean it up. You know, taught people how to bathe, taught people the importance of a clean home, helped construct cathedrals, taught them about different foods. We were the people that were first talking about safe sex. And this was back in 1000 BC. Go ahead and research if you need to. But yeah. So tell me what your thoughts are on that. Tell me what your thoughts are on the lamb intestines. Have you ever used a lamb condom? I remember back in my younger years, when I first started to become sexually active, I ran across one. I didn't like the smell of it, just taking it out the wrapper back then. And I mean, this is like, shoot, 82, 83, maybe, 84, maybe. I can't remember if I even used it, but I just remembered the texture of feeling it and the smell of it. You know what I mean? But hey, historically, it worked. It prevented syphilis and unwanted pregnancies. So you have to understand some of the people in higher places in leadership, in government, in kingdoms and dynasties, they had concubines, you know, and even if they didn't make you a wife, you know, they still had concubines. And they didn't want to get a concubine pregnant and bring those people into the tribe or into the bloodlines. So we began to use safe sex. What's your thoughts on this? Go ahead and leave a comment. Again, when you're there, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification so you never miss a show like this with this much good education. And also, you'll never miss the flavor. You know what I'm talking about? All right. We're at our last segment, and this is of the great book titled The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man by SHAHRAZAD Ali. She wrote this back in 1991. You know, I remember when I first seen her on the Montel Williams show, and this was during my college years, you know what I mean? And, you know, I knew that the wisdom was speaking. The queen was speaking some true facts, you know, some true actual facts. And she's one of our great scholars. I encourage you to get both of her books and continue to support um, Shahrazad Ali. She has two books. One is titled The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. Is definitely a great book. Just to read off a couple of the chapters here. Chapter 1 is filled with babyhood, puberty, home life, community, religious upbringing, holiday indoctrination, welfare, kindergarten, initial stages of brainwashing. Chapter 2 is identity, titles, character, culture, 1960s, Vietnam War, civil rights, lifestyle choices, organizations, individuality, slavery techniques, remnants, names, roots, masons, and fraternities. Chapter 3 is about appearance, wardrobe, sneakers, rules, cool, jewelry, hair, image. Chapter 4 is about communications, conversation, English, lying, crying, truth, fear, hostility, war, ego, by any means necessary. Chapter 5 is education, public school, early learning curriculums, separate schools, natural law, colleges, TVs, actors, math, superstition, Catholic school, and images. Chapter 6 is employment, working, money, spending, conversations, jobs, disunity, business, advertisers, avoidance, child support, and street vendors. Number 7 is recreation, sports, merchandising, initiation, professionals, entertainment, tipping, early TV, theaters, and movies. Chapter 8 of the book is the law, 911, census, prison life, murder, adjustment, fighting, rehab, justice, addiction, and legal systems. Chapter 9 is religion, the Holy Bible, authenticity, hymns, Christianity, verses, purpose, tricker, Jesus, church, cannibalism, and preachers. Chapter 10 deals with sexuality and relationships, interaction, choices, standards, lies, jealousy, distrust, fatherhood, adoption, his penis, approaches, traditions, his mother, the other woman, interracial romance, homosexuality, and AIDS. Chapter 11 deals with teenage black males, home, streets, abandonment, rites of passage, gangs, money, promiscuity, ignorance, respect, talent, rap, and fads. And lastly, chapter 12 is about leadership, objective, critical analogy of the top 10 black men leaders over the past 175 years. So we're going to dive in to that chapter 12, page 209, and we will discuss this short paragraph. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Again, thank you for tuning in to the Coffee Talk Podcast. If you're just now turning in, this is our cultural studies night, and we have discussed a couple of little segments and short stories. Again, the first one being June 16th, 1920, Duluth, Minnesota. We also discussed the first sexual protections. And now, as we dive into chapter 12 of the book, The Black Man's Guide, or The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Male, chapter 12, we're going to deal with page 209 in the last paragraphs of that. Let's begin. Something must be done about the slate dark dents pervading the brains of the black man that forbids him from thinking clearly. It is as if his skull is frozen, brain dead. So much of his will has been emasculated. He is incapable of choosing right over wrong. The black man's desperation for leadership has caused him to be overly impressed with emotion-filled, rugged sounding dialogue and outrageous platform suggestions of so-called politicians. The black man's leaders have come from the church, politics, law, and education. Every so often, a self-made black man rises to the podium, but unless he presents valuable proof of his ability to get more entitlements, the credentialed, educated class will not recognize him. And the uneducated have been doping into believing that only the college-trained black is qualified to lead, or are also prone to dismiss his findings. This chapter will discuss the doctrines and platforms of the top 10 black men who rose to prominence in leadership authority. An attempt will be made to explain their positions as briefly as possible. Other black men who were or continue to inspire as wannabe leaders will also be mentioned, as they are a part of history. All of the black men listed were or are instrumental in either guiding the black man to success and respectability, or misleading them into unemployment, violence, and self-hatred. To be clear, each black man is responsible for the result of what he chose and what he selected to reject. In other words, every black man has what he deserves. Unfortunately, his decisions are impacted on his women, his children, and his future generations. However sparse the group, many black men in leadership positions over the past years have misrepresented the needs of the people and fostered inaccurate priorities. Every black man is a leader in his home, his community, and his nation. Whether or not he exercises the authority of this leadership is up to him. His ineffectiveness in the home is crystal clear by observing his offspring and his women. And his incompetence in politics is proven by the inadequate temporary solutions he endorsed. It is the men in the African community who have not only failed themselves, but forfeited their mothers, women, and children in the process. Here are the 10 most popular and influential black men leaders in chief positions over the African American nation during the past 175 years. Number 1, Frederick Douglass, a politician and orator from 1817 to 1895. Booker T. Washington, an educator and community advocate from 1856 to 1915. Marcus Garvey, an organizer and nationalist from 1887 to 1940. W.E.B. Du Bois, an educator, a politician, and a writer from 1868 to 1963. Elijah Muhammad, a religious messenger from 1897 to 1975. They call him a religious messenger. But we argue the word religion, but that's another story. Number 6, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., politician and minister from 1908 to 1972. Number 7, Stokely Carmichael, organizer and civil rights advocate from 1941. And then I'm not sure if Stokely passed away. I want to say he did, but during the time of this writing, he was present in our time. Number 8, Malcolm X, a Muslim minister, orator, and militant from 1925 to 1965. Number 9, Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights activist and minister from 1929 to 1968. And as we all know, Mr. Jesse Jackson, minister and politician from 1941. The purpose of studying leadership themes and political positions of black men is to analyze their tactics, seek out their differences and similarities, and to trace the status of their ideas today. This analogy is not presented to dishonor their noble efforts because each one tried in his own way to alleviate the social, economic, and religious problems Blacks still suffer from today. But this is a critical, objective study of realistically dissecting their platforms so that the future Black men leaders can benefit from potential remedies and avoid useless time-consuming approaches already known to fail. There's no time left to expand pursuing goals which historically have proven to be pointless. Every effort is made to present their basic doctrines in a concise assessment. These top 10 Black leaders, their political theories, and resultant practicum will be judged by the following criteria on a conclusion sheet after each description of their teachings. The criteria for evaluation is, did he seek advancement through politics and the right to vote? Did he think that social integration was the solution? Did he believe in the European religion of Christianity? Did he design a life plan for self-sufficiency and self-defense? Did he keep his former slave master's name while seeking freedom? Did his program include retention of Black culture and traditions? And what is the status of his ideas today? So whenever you start to critique or evaluate or observe Black leadership, you may want to take that criteria and use that as an analysis to find truth and righteousness within these leaders. Maybe you can assist them. Maybe you can find the distortment and lack thereof of them when they're not standing up for our culture, speaking righteously for our culture and the upliftment, and those that's just being handed money under the table. Those that love to go on these social media wires and act like fools, all in the name of entertainment, all in the name of selling their souls, all in the name of influencing emasculation amongst our people that lack critical thinking and those that's just unknowledgeable and uneducated and ignorant. What is your thoughts on our discussion tonight? Talking about Black leaders. And out of the 10 that we mentioned, which one stands out to you? I would love to hear your comments. Make sure that you go to the chat box. Let us know you was here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification so we can see you again. And make sure that you remember to tune in here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. We thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna hit you with the universal peace sign. And yo, before I get ready to leave, I do want to give one big shout out. I know it's been about 2 days ago, but I want to give a big shout out to the New York Knicks basketball team. That's right, the New York Knicks basketball team. Hats off to the Knicks for winning the NBA championship against the San Antonio Spurs. They beat them 4-1, winning in Game 5, 94-90. MVP went to Jalen Brunson, who scored 163 total points in 5 games. Brunson averaged 32.6 points a game. The young 6'1" guard is phenomenal. I got him ranked as the best guard in the NBA right now. And it's just a little summary of his point total for the New York Knicks. Game 1, Jalen Brunson scored 30. Game 2, Jalen Brunson hit 20. Game 3, Jalen Brunson hit 32. Game 4, Jalen Brunson hit 36. In game 5, Jalen Brunson hit 45 points. Their last title was in 1973 when they beat the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games, which was a 53-year drought. So hats off to the New York Knicks, a.k.a. the New York Knickerbockers, and young Jalen Brunson and the whole team. So with that said, this is Coffee Talk Podcast. You know who it is. It's the big homie. It's the big uncle. Mashuma Saba M. Saba. And this is our cultural variety podcast show. I hit you with the universal peace sign, and I'll see y'all again. Thank you for tuning in. Coffee Talk Podcast.